The Galactic Council's chamber thrummed with an electric hum, the grand hall alive with whispered debates and shifting shadows. At the chamber's center, a holographic display projected a dazzling star field, dominated by the looming figure of an alien warship. The room fell silent as Counselor Celine of the Andromeda sector stepped forward, her voice cutting through the tension. "Esteemed delegates," she began, her tone laden with gravity, "our intelligence reports are unequivocal. The Thraxian fleet, despite our warnings, has entered the Sol system." The alien delegation, a group of sleek, angular beings with emerald-hued skin, exchanged skeptical glances. Zalcor, the Thraxian commander, stood out among them. His dark, imposing figure radiated a mix of arrogance and disdain. "Counselor Celine," Zalcor interjected with a dismissive wave of his hand, "your warnings are as amusing as they are irrelevant. We have assessed the human defenses. Their technology is primitive at best." A murmur rippled through the chamber. Celine's eyes narrowed. "You underestimate Earth's capacity for defense and adaptability. The human forces are more formidable than you perceive." Captain Elias Ward, a seasoned military strategist, watched from the edge of the chamber. His face, marked by years of experience, reflected a mix of concern and resolve. He had heard the warnings. Earth's survival hinged on his readiness. Now, as the debate continued, he knew time was slipping away. The debate reached a crescendo, with Zalcor's arrogance clashing against the Council's urgent warnings. Celine's eyes met Ward's across the room, a silent acknowledgement of the dire situation. "The Thraxians will attack within hours," she concluded, her voice unwavering. "We must prepare immediately." Ward stood, his presence commanding attention. "If I may, Counselor Celine," he said, his voice steady and authoritative, "I'll ensure Earth's forces are ready. We've faced threats before, but this is a different level of danger." Celine nodded. "Your leadership will be crucial. The Thraxians are ruthless and underestimate human resolve at their peril." The holographic display shifted to reveal Earth's defenses, scrambled fighter jets, orbiting satellites, and the skeletal framework of hastily constructed space stations. Ward's eyes, sharp with determination, scanned the data. His mind raced with strategies and contingencies. "Captain Ward," Celine's voice cut through his thoughts, "we're counting on you." Zalcor's cold laugh echoed through the chamber. "Let the humans play their games. We'll see how long their bravado lasts." As the meeting adjourned, Ward strode out of the chamber, his mind already mapping out the first steps of humanity's defense. The corridors of the Galactic Council's headquarters felt different now, more distant, less secure. He knew the Thraxian threat was not just an invasion, it was a challenge to Earth's very existence. In the dimly lit command center, Ward gathered his team. "Prepare for an emergency briefing," he commanded. "We have limited time and a formidable enemy. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity is capable of." The team bustled into action, and Ward's thoughts turned to the impending battle. The Thraxians might have underestimated Earth, but that miscalculation would cost them dearly. He could almost see the battlefield in his mind, a chaotic dance of strategy and courage where every decision counted. The chamber's door closed behind him with a resonant thud, sealing him in a realm of preparation and urgency. The fight for Earth's survival had begun, and Captain Elias Ward was ready to lead humanity's stand against the impending storm. The siren's wail cut through the command center, a sharp, urgent cry that summoned every officer to their stations. Captain Elias Ward strode into the bustling operations room, his face a mask of focused determination. The room was a hive of activity, with screens flashing red alerts and holographic displays projecting the grim reality of an imminent invasion. "Status report," Ward demanded, his voice cutting through the cacophony. Lieutenant Sarah Mitchell, his second-in-command, looked up from her console, her brow furrowed with concern. "The Thraxian fleet is advancing faster than anticipated. They've already breached the outer perimeter of the solar system. Their lead ship is within range of our outlying colonies." Ward's eyes narrowed. "How much time until they reach Earth?" Mitchell tapped her data pad. "At current speed, They'll reach Earth's orbit in just under 12 hours. We need to act now if we're going to minimize the damage. Ward nodded, his mind already racing through tactical options. Prepare for immediate deployment. I want our fighters scrambled and our defenses on high alert. We'll need every advantage we can get. As the team scrambled to follow his orders, Ward's gaze settled on the massive tactical display dominating the room. The Thraxian ships, massive and menacing, loomed large against the backdrop of stars. Their design was sleek and formidable, a stark contrast to the patchwork of human defenses. We've got incoming, Mitchell warned, her voice tight with tension. The first wave of Thraxian fighters is en route. Ward's jaw tightened. All units, engage at maximum range. Use the asteroid field as cover. We need to keep them away from Earth's atmosphere. The command center's lights flickered as energy shields activated, casting an eerie glow over the room. Ward could hear the distant hum of spacecraft engines as they prepared for battle. His mind raced, calculating potential strategies, assessing risks, and preparing for the inevitable chaos. On the outer rim of the solar system, the first skirmishes erupted. Thraxian fighters, agile and aggressive, cut through the asteroid field with deadly precision. Human pilots, less technologically advanced but fierce and resourceful, engaged them in a desperate dogfight. Ward watched the feeds from the front lines, his face reflecting a mixture of anxiety and determination. The human fighters were outnumbered, their ships darting and weaving as they exchanged fire with the Thraxians. Explosions punctuated the darkness, each burst of light a reminder of the stakes. Captain, we've lost contact with the outlying colony, Mitchell reported, her voice laced with frustration. They've been hit hard. We're not sure how many survivors there are. Ward's heart sank. Redirect all available support to the colony. We can't afford to lose any more ground. He turned to address his team, his voice steady despite the turmoil. We're facing a formidable enemy, but we have one advantage: the will to defend our home. Stay sharp, stay focused. We fight to win. As the battle raged on, Ward's thoughts turned to the Thraxian commander, Zalcor. The alien's arrogance had been evident during the council meeting, but now it was clear that underestimating humanity had been a critical error. Ward could almost sense the Thraxians' frustration as their advance faltered against the fierce resistance. In the chaos of combat, a new wave of Thraxian ships emerged, their weapons primed for a direct assault on Earth's defenses. The screen flashed a dire warning, and Ward's pulse quickened. This was just the beginning, the real test was yet to come. Ward took a deep breath, steel resolve settling into his expression. The human spirit was resilient, and today, it would be tested like never before. As the battle continued to unfold, Captain Elias Ward knew that every decision made in the coming hours could mean the difference between humanity's survival or annihilation. The air in the command center crackled with tension as Ward's team prepared for the next phase of the conflict. The fight was far from over, and Earth's defenders would need to summon every ounce of courage and ingenuity to face the storm that was about to break. The chaos of battle had settled into a grim rhythm. Captain Elias Ward stood in the command center, his eyes fixed on the main tactical display, where the fight for Earth's survival played out in real time. The holoscreen showed a mosaic of flashing lights and shifting vectors, with Thraxian and human ships locked in a deadly dance. Captain, we've identified a major Thraxian cruiser targeting our primary defense grid, Lieutenant Mitchell announced, her voice taut with urgency. If it breaches, our orbital defenses could be compromised. Ward's jaw clenched. Redirect all available interceptors to engage that cruiser. We need to protect the grid at all costs. The command center buzzed with activity as orders were relayed. Ward's gaze shifted to a live feed showing a squadron of human fighters darting through space, their engines blazing as they closed in on the massive Thraxian cruiser. The cruiser's armored hull bristled with weaponry, and its formidable shields pulsed with a menacing energy. Sergeant Lucas Hayes, one of the top pilots, came through on the comms channel. Captain, we're engaging the cruiser now. Its shields are holding strong, but we're making a dent. Ward's eyes narrowed. Keep the pressure on. If we can disable their main cannons, we might turn the tide. On the display, The human fighters maneuvered skillfully, weaving between bursts of plasma fire. The Thraxian cruiser's shields flickered as the fighters' weapons struck home, but the cruiser's retaliatory fire was fierce, sending several human ships spiraling out of control. The tension in the command center mounted as the battle waged on. Mitchell's face was a mask of concentration as she monitored the situation. "Captain, the Thraxians are deploying additional reinforcements. We're outnumbered." Ward's mind raced, calculating their options. "We need to buy time. Activate the remaining orbital defenses and deploy our reserve squadrons." The command center's lights dimmed momentarily as the orbital defenses powered up, their massive laser cannons emerging from hidden bays. The reserve squadrons launched with a roar, joining the fray as a second wave of human fighters engaged the Thraxian reinforcements. Amidst the chaos, Ward's communicator crackled to life with a voice he hadn't expected. "Captain Ward, this is Dr. Elena Carter from the Research Division. We've made a breakthrough on the Thraxian tech. We've developed a countermeasure that might disable their shields." Ward's eyes widened. "Dr. Carter, can you deploy this countermeasure immediately?" "Affirmative. We're preparing to launch it now. It's experimental, but it could be the edge we need." Ward turned to Mitchell, his expression fierce. "Prepare for the countermeasure launch. This could turn the tide." The command center watched in breathless anticipation as a sleek, projectile-shaped device emerged from Earth's orbit and streaked toward the Thraxian fleet. As it approached the Thraxian cruiser, the countermeasure activated, sending out a pulse that rippled through space. The Thraxian cruiser's shields sputtered and then faltered, their energy crackling and dissipating. The human fighters seized the opportunity, concentrating their fire on the now vulnerable cruiser. Explosions erupted along the cruiser's hull, and it began to list, its power systems failing. "Direct hit on the cruiser's power core," Hayes reported over the comms. "It's going down." Cheers erupted in the command center as the Thraxian cruiser broke apart in a spectacular explosion, debris scattering through space. The immediate threat had been neutralized, but Ward knew this was only a temporary reprieve. "Captain Ward, we're receiving a transmission from the Thraxian fleet's command ship," Mitchell said. "They're requesting a ceasefire." Ward's expression hardened. "We don't negotiate with invaders. Prepare to hold our positions and fortify our defenses. They'll be back, and we need to be ready." As the command center continued to process the aftermath of the battle, Ward glanced at the stars beyond the viewport. The fight was far from over, and Earth's defenders had proven their resilience. But the Thraxian fleet would regroup, and the next confrontation promised to be even more brutal. Captain Elias Ward knew that humanity's struggle was just beginning. The Thraxian threat was formidable, but so was the resolve of those defending Earth. The battle lines had been drawn, and the fight for survival would continue until victory was secured, or until the last stand was made. The remnants of the Thraxian fleet drifted in space, battered but not entirely defeated. The battle had shifted from a desperate fight for survival to a tenuous hold on victory. Captain Elias Ward stood in the command center, his gaze locked on the holographic display, where scattered Thraxian ships regrouped and prepared for a renewed assault. "Captain, we've received an encrypted transmission from the Thraxian command ship," Lieutenant Mitchell announced, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. "They're requesting a parley." Ward's eyes narrowed. "A parley? After everything they've done?" Mitchell nodded. "It appears they're considering their options. They might be looking for a way out, or they could be stalling for time." Ward's mind raced. The Thraxians had underestimated humanity's resolve, and now they were paying the price. But Ward knew that underestimating the enemy's desperation could be a grave mistake. "Open the channel," Ward ordered, his voice firm. The screen flickered, and the imposing figure of Thraxian Commander Zalcor appeared. The alien's scarred face and cold, calculating eyes betrayed no emotion. "Captain Ward, I come to offer terms of surrender. We will cease hostilities if you agree to our demands." Ward's gaze was unwavering. "Your fleet is in no position to make demands. What do you want?" Zalcor's expression remained impassive. "We seek a withdrawal from your solar system." In exchange, we will release the remaining hostages and cease all aggression. Ward's jaw tightened. The offer was tempting, but he knew the Thraxians could not be trusted. And if we refuse? Then the remaining forces will attack your world, Zalcor replied. We have enough firepower to raise your defenses and cause irreparable damage. Ward's mind raced through the implications. A full-scale assault could decimate Earth's defenses, but agreeing to their terms might only delay the inevitable. Captain Ward? Mitchell's voice broke through his thoughts. We have reports of new Thraxian reinforcements approaching. If we don't act soon, we could be overwhelmed. Ward turned back to Zalcor. We need time to assess your offer. Stand by. He ended the transmission and faced his team. Prepare for potential evacuation protocols. We need to be ready for any scenario. Mitchell nodded. What's our next move? Ward's eyes swept over the tactical display. We reinforce our positions and prepare for a final defensive stand. We'll use the remaining time to fortify our defenses and assess our options. We won't be caught off guard again. The team sprang into action, bolstering defenses and preparing for a potential onslaught. The command center was a whirlwind of activity, the air thick with tension and anticipation. Ward moved among his team, offering words of encouragement and direction. Outside, the battle raged anew. Human fighters darted through space, engaging the Thraxian reinforcements in a furious exchange of fire. The Thraxian ships, more numerous and aggressive, pressed their advantage, but humanity's fighters, driven by sheer determination, fought with relentless vigor. In the command center, Ward's gaze remained fixed on the main display, where the Thraxian reinforcements advanced, their dark forms looming ominously. The stakes were high, and the next few hours would determine the fate of Earth. Suddenly, an alert blared, drawing everyone's attention to the screen. Captain, we're detecting a massive energy surge from the Thraxian command ship, Mitchell reported. It's preparing for a major offensive. Ward's heart pounded. The ceasefire was a ruse. All units prepare for full engagement. We're facing a full-scale assault. The command center erupted into a frenzy as orders were issued and defensive systems powered up. Ward took a deep breath, steeling himself for the battle ahead. The Thraxians had underestimated humanity once again, and now they would face the full force of human resolve. As the Thraxian ships prepared for their final assault, Ward's voice rang out through the command center. This is it. We hold the line or we fall. Let's show them what humanity is capable of. The battle unfolded in a series of blinding flashes and deafening roars. Human fighters, bolstered by their newfound determination, launched a relentless counterattack. The Thraxians, faced with an unexpectedly fierce resistance, struggled to maintain their offensive. In the midst of the chaos, Ward's focus was unwavering. He knew that the outcome of this battle would define humanity's future. With each passing moment, the tide of battle shifted, and the Thraxians' initial advantage began to wane. As the last of the Thraxian ships fell, a resounding silence enveloped the battlefield. The immediate threat was over, but the cost had been significant. The command center erupted in exhausted cheers, but Ward's gaze remained solemn. We've won this battle, Ward said, his voice weary but resolute. But the war is far from over. We must remain vigilant. Earth's future depends on our ability to adapt and persevere. The command center's lights dimmed, casting long shadows over the room. The defenders of Earth had proven their mettle, but the galaxy was vast, and new challenges awaited. Captain Elias Ward knew that humanity's fight for survival was only beginning, and they would need every ounce of courage and resilience to face the trials ahead.